people in the room and very few people on the screen online. Today there's a whole bunch of people online and a smaller group in the room, and I was thinking it's kind of like being in a boat or something. It's like you lean this way, and then you lean this way, you lean forward, and what matters is that we're all here. And we're going to continue, and I'm going to continue to try to remember a rhythm of, during the pandemic, we didn't do kinhin, and we did the dedication of merit at the beginning. We're going to begin to do kinhin most Sangha meetings, except for the ones where we're going to do service. We're going to do service to begin with once a month on Tuesdays and once a month on Thursdays. And we will chant the names of safe passage and well-being as part of service and or just as a dedication of merit, like we'll do today. You don't have to understand any of that. I don't either, but we'll figure it out. And Sherry and I were talking today just about forms and about service, and we didn't do so much of that during the pandemic. So I'm also going to, I think we can do it as part of Genjo koan, because Dogan so much loves and reveres zazen and liturgy as the embodiment of practice. We'll talk about that. I'll make a point of doing that. And what I want to do while we're studying Dogan's Genjo koan, which is so beautiful, I think it's interesting. I just came up with, we should study Genjo koan. Now's the time, given the point in the world, Dogan and Genjo koan. And then I read like a week later that Norman Fisher is teaching it at Everyday Zen. And then I looked a week later and somebody is teaching Genjo koan at San Francisco Zen Center. So I think we must all be tapped into, there's something here, there's some deep ground that we all need to remember and ground in during this time. And we'll see how this goes. I have this feeling, Genjo koan means the actualization of the fundamental point, which is living is how do you live? What is Suzuki Roshi, what's the most important thing? How do we live the deepest truth? One might say, how do we live love, not small love, but as my friend Sue Moon said, big love. How do we love it and embody it? How do we love and embody it in each moment? I want to try to bring forward poetry and wisdom from indigenous peoples and peoples of color as a way to this isn't about Dogan and Japan a long time ago, and this philosophy isn't a philosophy that we it's very beautiful. I think it's very beautiful, but it's also gritty and it's practical. And to me, that one of the reasons I practice is to help me not turn away, and to keep the willingness to keep waking up and know how much I don't know. I don't know about all of you, but part of what's happening during this time is like, I had no idea. I had no idea those other people over there thought that way, and they've been thinking and feeling that for a long time. Or I had no idea the degree of suffering that came from the color of your skin. I mean, I sort of knew it, but so it feels like this is the ground. Instead of putting ourselves and other people and other things out there, my experience of letting the world come forward is it's tender. It's intimate, it feels alive, it's uncomfortable, and it's no place else on earth I'd rather be. And that's what the Bodhisattva vows are. I vow to be here. Okay, so that's what I'm hoping. will continue forever to help each other and the whole world do. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to start with, I found, or someone pointed out to me, and it'll be in the newsletter next week, I think. It's a forum on Dogan from 2004 by 4 people who I respect very much in the realm of Dogan and the Dharma. But Dogan, Bonnie Miote Trace, Tygan Dan Layton, Norman Fisher, and Stephen Hine. We're sort of going to sit in a little bit on this conversation about Dogan. The great thing is it doesn't matter that it was 2004. You could talk about Dogan. Is Dogan is Dogan, and they might say it a little differently now, and I've edited this a lot, but I thought it would be really helpful to just give us a context of Dogan. Okay, so here we go, understanding Dogan. Guaranteed, you will understand Dogan by the end. No. You will understand that it's not unusual to not understand Dogan. Okay, so here, the introduction is by Carl Blowfield. I've always said it, anyway. Belfield. He's a professor of religious studies at Stanford, co-director of Buddhism. I wonder if he's still alive. I think he may not be. But this is his introduction to this forum. As a philosopher, Dogan is probably best known for his emphasis on the claim that the ultimate truth is not a timeless principle. It's not out there. It's not heaven. It's not behind everything. It's not in front of everything. It's this. That's what's so hard to get. We're so conditioned, and I think our Judeo-Christian understanding often in dualistic views is we're not talking about someplace else. But it's actually what's going on around us. Or to put it from the other side, that what is going on is not just one thing after another, which is of course the way we process it. There's past, present, and future. This, then this, and if I do this, then I'll be good, and if I did this, then I'm bad. I mean, there is cause and effect. Dogan was very clear about cause and effect. It's a whole other story. I'm not going to go down that road. But as Blowfield says, it's not just one thing after another, but the welling up of enlightenment in the world. It's like prajna paramita. It's like love. It's like wisdom. It's like moment after moment, but it's not moment after moment. It's beyond comprehension. But this is it. This is it. Dogan is also known for the unity of practice and verification, the view that the goal of Buddhism is not a future state of enlightenment achieved through practice. I'm sorry. There are no certificates. But in the present engagement in practice itself, this is it. This is Buddha. Just this moment, this moment, this moment, this moment. Living it, practicing it. And that's what we all get to do, is help each other and help the whole world. Okay, he says, let's see. He's also known for his emphasis to details on whatever we do, and for a particular approach to meditation, zazen, in which we're encouraged, you'll see in Genjo koan, Dogan says, dropping body and mind. Just drop it all go all the way to the end of the exhale. Suzuki Roshi said, die at the end of the exhale. And then there's just wonder, the whole world re-arises. Or that it's not even, it's like the in-breath, the whole world is here. It's the same and it's completely different. It's like, if you really paid attention, there would be nothing but wonder and great humility. And Dogan is deeply known for Shobo Genzo, and Genjo koan is one of his most well-known fascicles in the Genjo koan. I mean, Genjo koan is one of the most well-known fascicles in the Shobo Genzo. Moon and a Dewdrop is a great and easy compendium of Dogan's teachings if you just want to have Dogan around. I sometimes have the feeling I don't even need to read him. You can just like put it by your bedstand. I don't know if it's true, but I like things like that. Okay, so Buddha, this is from Tricycle Magazine, and they say, many Buddhists know that Dogen is a central figure in Zen, but when they begin to read Dogen, they find him very hard to penetrate. I thought you might appreciate that. So here's, maybe I'll identify sometimes who's speaking, maybe I won't, but it's a conversation between four people, and you'll feel there's slightly different points of view and language. Dogen challenged not just conventional thought, but conventional activity. He asked us to look into the real nature of expression, the mystery of birth and death and time. To take up these issues in a genuine way and to question every word. If you think you know what birth is, if you think you know what death is, if you think you know what time is, if you think you know what's going on right now, take a breath and then just keep opening. Let the world come forward and it will open and reveal itself. And some of your little self will like and some of it won't like, but it'll keep opening. Dogen's practice is counterintuitive to how a lot of Buddhists usually think, whereby meditation and practice are seen as a means to future enlightenment and the achievement of a goal. Part of what makes him a little difficult for Americans is our consumer orientation. He's saying it's complete as it is right now. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to go anyplace. But practice doesn't say space out. Notice when you're spacing out. Spacing out is it too. But the intention to be here with and for all beings. It's like, what's the intention? The intention is to be here with and for all beings, whatever your language is. You have to find what's true. And then keep, whatever you think it is, keep holding it up against the teachings, because it will keep opening and deepening. Whatever you think you know right now, whatever I think I know right now, you can just keep being surprised. I absolutely, I have great anticipation. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. But when I die, I have no idea. Do you? You think you do? Well, okay, I hope it works out for you. But keeping an open heart mind is, might be more interesting. Practice is the expression of realization. His writing is difficult because he's talking to practitioners in a very playful way. Now that's not something most people would say. Dogen seems very serious, but he's playing with reality and he's playing with us. So if you can bring that, which I hope we all more and more can play in this awful, beautiful mess, because play in the deepest sense of the word is find love and kindness and connection, and he's trying to help us. Okay. He inspired the whole flavor of Zen we are familiar with, the feeling of entering into the present moment profoundly. It's the sacredness and power that comes with just being present. And Stephen Hines says, who's a real Dogen scholar, and if you read him, he's very scholarly, and is wonderful because he knows, and he says that Dogen's writing, it's like Suzuki Roshi. I have the feeling the more I study him and practice with him, is his depth of knowledge, Dogen's depth of writings, of the range of writings from China, is we can't even begin to know often the references and what he's referring to. So some of it, it's like it's like, okay, I don't think I need to go down that road because it's an ancient reference. And some of it is completely translated into the playfulness of the embodiment of the right now. You should just know that Dogen is he's a pretty amazing scholar himself. He's using old koan stories to show deeper levels of our dualistic thinking habits and the possibility of living the present experience more fully. So Dogan will often take in his fascicles old koan stories and the commentaries that were passed down and codified, and this was the answer to the koan, and this person was the good person, this was the teacher, and this was the dumb student, and he turns the whole thing upside down and is completely a dialogue. And there's it is that it happens in the interaction between them. And so you can't come up with a finite answer. You have to keep entering the dialogue. You have to keep entering life. That's why he's very frustrating. You can't get it. You will get it, and then you'll forget it, or it'll turn into something else. So, Bonnie says, the first step is a willingness to allow genuine attention to be there. We shift for a minute from instant soup dharma to the deep flavors of a long cooking soup. Then if you apply the real heat, zazen, study with a teacher, practice in a sangha, the liturgy, which I would say are the forms that maintains your allegiance to mystery. That's why we do it all. It's an allegiance to mystery. Isn't that kind of a beautiful thing to say? Mm. You have rich possibilities. It's like you put in if you looked at a soup, it's like, good heavens. And carrots and potatoes, and then what happens when you put it all together, and then when you eat it, and then we just call it soup. When you spend much time in the kind of attention he demands, we become inspired, encouraged, and involved in a way that is impossible to describe. He is suggesting there is a wide variety, perhaps an infinite variety of ways of looking at the same sources and the same ideas. Infinite. And I think that's why I want to bring in people of color and different points of view from people other than you, me, us. There's so many different ways to perceive this world. In each particular human and conditioning and culture and experience, and we're just beginning to get it, which is why a lot of the old is being torn down, and which is why I think people are getting more and more nervous. Because people want to know something, and they want it to be predictable, and how are we going to do this together? So that's why this is all so good. Norman Fisher says, one of Dogan's chief purposes is to show you that the conventional, ordinary, taken for granted way of thinking and looking at the world is actually the cause of your being bound and suffering and confused. His language is the undoing of language, and so it's hard to understand on a conventional level. If you go along with him, though, in his unmaking of language, he's unmaking the world, actually, I think beyond, well, we describe the world through language. It exposes how we conceptualize, which is why we get frustrated and resentful. It's like, he doesn't know anything because you're making me really uncomfortable, but the more you do it, it becomes soaring, wonderful, and inspiring. Taigen Dan Layton says, I hope I'm making you really curious about Dogan. One way I recommend to work with Dogan is to read his work as if listening to a symphony, to let it wash over you instead of trying to get some kind of understanding. Play instead. Dogan is a very interactive writer, turning around the language and turning it inside out, showing us how we are caught by our usual thinking is part of the joy of reading Dogan. You can join him in playing with the ideas, images, motifs, and sayings. And we'll do it together too. And then Bonnie says, yet even as Dogan lets you soar with poetic freedom, he also grounds you. I was studying another fascicle with some people this morning, and in this fascicle, the way it's translated, is that all of this soaring emptiness, prajnaparamita, it's very practical. Dogan says it. It's very practical. It's very practical. It's just this. So don't miss it. Cut the carrots. Make the soup. Walk in the courtyard. Birth, death, it's all right here. It's about the sophistication and subtlety of language, but it's also about how to brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, and put on your clothes. What would it look like if our commitment were total? What would it be to not exclude neither the greatest capacity of intellect nor something as simple as whether we slam the door? And of course, Zazen. Zazen, Dogan's understanding of Zazen is crucial. Zazen for Dogan is a celebration, a ceremony, a way of expressing something deep, of enacting it. It is expressing the possibility of just being present with the reality appearing in our thoughts and feelings, as well as in sounds, sensations, and postures. Okay. I don't have nearly enough time for all the wonderful things that I got into. Okay, we'll just do, we'll go back to what we did, his most famous phrase from, we did this in the sitting too. To study, it's a slightly different translation. It's the one I know best, actually. To study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. To forget the self is to be actualized or intimate with myriad things. When actualized by myriad things, your body and mind, as well as the bodies and minds of others, drop away. Here, I'll just give you a quick little commentary from this group. It doesn't mean getting rid of the ego. Just keep watching the experience of the ego as it is. The forgetting happens all on its own. And in fact, Stephen Hine tells us that in philosophical Taoism, they use forgetting in the positive sense of letting go. Keep letting go of the self. Practice just letting go and letting go. Moving beyond distractions, limitations, conventionality that bind us and cause us to struggle. The whole paragraph, this one in Genjo koan, is a description of what our practice is. Dropping body and mind is an ongoing thing. It's not that it happens once and you're finished with it. Practically speaking, we see that even after studying Dogan for 30 years, I would say this is 2004, and I would say they'd say the same thing, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years on your deathbed. There's no end to studying the self. And there is no end to dropping body and mind. In each moment, we are faced with new situations, a new moment of being time. Once again, we have to bring this whole process of studying the self, forgetting the self, dropping body and mind into our experience right now. Okay, so now I can't help myself. I wanted to, I've been reading Ocean Vuong. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. He's, I think, I meant to look it up. He was born in Vietnam. I think of, his father was an American GI and his mother was Vietnamese and was a refugee, came in the boats in the era after the war. He's one incredible, he's written beautiful novels and poetry. He's also queer, so he brings multiple different perspectives. You can imagine the number of different perspectives that he brings to this. Mostly what I want to say is that what he says about poetry is the power to interrupt. when you read, I would say poetry, when you read anything else that shakes your, I just read on vacation, I think I said this, The Night Watchman by Louis Erdrich, who's Native American, is good art interrupts your perception of things. It's why it's beautiful, it's why it's inspiring, it's why it's disturbing, and we need it. And his poetry is not so easy, but I found one in here that, maybe I'll just, I don't know if I can. His mother, he wrote this time as a mother after his mother died. It's full of grief and love. But she was a nail salon worker. Do you ever walk by nail salons and wonder who it is who's working in? I do that all. It's actually, I mean, I've always wanted to get my toes and nails done, but I've never done it because I look in and I think, I don't know. Anyway, I just, and somehow this verifies. But please, I love it when people have wonderful toenails and fingernails, but it's like anything. It's like look deeply. Okay, I sort of can't help myself. I want to read you this. March, Advil, 4-pack. Sally Hansen pink nail polish, 6-pack. Clorox bleach, industrial size. Diane hairpins, 4-pack. Seafoam handheld mirror. I Love New York t-shirt, white, small. It's done in lists. This is the list for March of what the particulars, the very practical moments of remembering March. April, ramen noodle bowl, 24-pack. Cotton balls, 100 count. Thank you for your loyalty cards, 30 count. Some solvent, 1 quart. A nail lamp, cuticle oil, value pack, nail tips, 500 count. May, Advil, 4-pack. Vicks Vapor Rub, twin pack. Portable electric nail drill. Heat activated muscle patch. Lipstick, night red out, and some chocolate. June, how would somebody write your life? Planter pots, condensed milk. I'm shortening this now. Liquid powder dish, clear nail art acrylic liquid powder dish bowl. Birthday cards, sun, pop-up mother and son effect. Nike Elite basketball shorts, men's small. July. Holographic gold nail powder, 6 colors. Instant coffee, Advil, callus remover, Bengay medicated cream, 3-pack. August. Ochre summer dress, floral print, size 6. Wrigley's double mint gum, 8-pack. Plastic Adirondack lawn chair, colonial blue. September, nail buffers and files, Coppertone sunblock. October, Cozy Nights fleece blanket, Sleep Ease melatonin caps, maximum strength pain relief pads. November, Tempex, hair clips, 3-pack. December, Advil, maximum strength, 4-pack. True Glow tulip bulbs, 24 pieces. January, it's completely blank. February, Healthline compact trigger release folding walker. Yankee Candle Midsummer's Nights large jar. March, Chemo Glam cotton headscarf, sunrise pink. White socks, woman's small, 12-pack. April, Chemo Glam cotton scarf, flower garden print. Warrior Mom breast cancer awareness t-shirt, pink and white. May, Mueller 255 lumbar support back brace. June. Birthday card. Son, we will always be together. Snoopy design. July. Eternity aluminum urn. Dove and rose engraved small. Perfect Memories picture frame 8 by 11 inches black. Burt's Bees lip balm honey 1 pack. August. Blank. September. Easy Grow windowsill herb garden. October. Your Story customized memorial plaque 8 by 10 by 4 inches. Winter coat navy blue extra small. November. Wool socks gray 1 pair. I'm just sort of amazed at what he can say and not say in just the very practical details of letting the world come forward and touching through Bengay and Advil. And it's the same way when you go in the garden and let the flowers touch you. So they will teach you about birth and death and mystery and everything. It's like, we don't want to miss it. Don't miss it. Okay, so we have a little bit of time. How about if I put you in groups of 3 and you each have